Hi, it's Martin and welcome to another video on my Knit365 YouTube channel. Today's video is technically my October roundup. They're my favourite type of videos, the roundups, where I get to sit down and chat with you all about the things I got up to in the month before. But this one, the November one's always the difficult roundup because of Vlogtober, you all get to see pretty much everything that I've done throughout the month, and therefore there's not a lot of non-MCAL / October knitting to share with you because I'm a bit of an open book and you've seen it, most of it, through Vlogtober. But I have yarn and parcels to share with you and some thoughts on what's coming up on the channel between now and the end of the year. I have done a little bit of non-MCAL knitting, so we've got a few things to chat about. So if you are new here, you are very welcome. Thank you for joining me on my crazy fibre journey. We've had a lot of people find my channel during the MCAL, which is just fantastic. So welcome to you all. And of course, welcome back to all of my returning viewers. It's lovely that you all keep coming back and giving me a little bit of your time. So I feel like I'm a bit out of practice to just sit down and chat to the camera because, of course, Vlogtober is all very chatty. We're out and about. It's little segments. But I've got my book and I've got some lemon tea. I know, right? No coffee. It's currently 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, Alexa, what date is it?
Today is Sunday the 13th of November.
Sunday the 13th of November. I have no concept of time today. We've had the laziest day. Laziest weekend, really. And we really, really needed it. It's been a busy old couple of weeks. So I'm sitting down kind of mid-month to do my wrap-up. But as I said, there's lots of stuff that you've already seen. But I wanted to just get back into a little bit of normal rhythm after the madness. I have this on. It's not finished. We'll come on to it in a bit. Team, embrace your pace. So yes, this is what you can expect for the rest of this video. A little bit of who am I? How do I blog? I love doing Vlogtober and I love doing Vlogmas because it's manic and crazy and we are filming lots of different things. I try and drag Mark into as much as I can. But for those of you that have been here for a while, you know the roundups are generally just me sitting down, chatting to the camera. So I feel I'm a little bit like, ooh. So this could be a sign of things to come in this video. So we will try to do a usual format. Finished objects, works in progress, acquisitions / top-ups, and then what's coming up on the channel. So I have my book. And in my book, I write down all of my projects and all of the things that I'm working on. Now, this hasn't changed from last month, really, because I've just realised this doesn't change from last month, but I think last month might have been wrong. Because in my whips was my habitation throw, and I've definitely finished that. Let's do a quick count. Works in progress. That's the most important. I always start with a declaration. How many things have I got on the needles? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 works in progress, I think. I think that's right. Coming up towards the end of the year, I will do a stock check and we'll get all the bags out and we'll chat about the whips. And there's a few things that I said I was going to hibernate, that I was going to rip back, and I haven't ripped them back. So I still need to do that and kind of like clear down some needles. But we'll go with, for the November video, 13 works in progress. But most of them are in hibernation because I don't actively work on 13 things at a time. We'll come on to what I'm going to work on now for the rest of November shortly, which will probably be now because for finished objects, I have none. Yeah. I had a bag at one point. I had the bag of shame, but I don't know where the bag of shame has gone. I can't remember what the bag looked like, but it's just popped into my head. There was a bag of shame. Yeah, no finished objects. Because it's all been about the MCAL. So let's just jump straight into that. There will be some finished objects in next month's video for December because I need to make progress on my crochet birds. More on that in a moment. So they will definitely be featured as finished objects. And this bad boy will hopefully be a finished object. So I'm going to take it off because I'm getting quite warm. And also we're on the whip stage. So there was no real spoiler while it was draped around my neck. You couldn't really see a lot of the sections. But for those of you that found me during the MCAL that are still plugging away at Twists and Turns by Stephen West, spoiler alert, I'm going to show where I have currently got to. So I will finish this month. I think I've probably got a couple of days worth of knitting left. I am on week 4 and I have just finished the wingtips. So it's quite long. It's almost a wrap rather than a shawl at the moment. But if I quickly show where we got to. So week 1, we did this section here with the Jacob's Ladder braids. Recap for some of you that may not have watched all of the Vlogtober madness. So week 1 was the Jacob's Ladder, kind of the corset section. And then week 2, we added these sections here with the short rows that came around this way, adding in the, this was done with the main colour and the accent, the contrast colour, the dark and the light. Then we added in the accent colour here, the rust. So that was week 2 for this section. And then the cables running along the top of that week. So that was week 2. Then we had week 3, which was the contrast stripes that go in here. I haven't yet done these. They're technically optional in the pattern, so I'm claiming them as I've done week 3. Because I can go back and add them at any time. So week 3 then, we added this lovely stripe of traveling cable stitches, and I learned to cable without a cable needle, which was super fun. This is still my favorite section so far of the whole shawl. And then week 4 has started where we have then joined the long stripe to the wing, and we've got these back to alternating stripes. So in the contrast color, you've got some stocking stitch, and then in the main color, you've got the garter stitch, and you've got one wing and 2 wings. So I've just finished that, and you've got the decrease running along down the triangle. So I've just finished that section today. I am firmly team embrace your pace, as most of you all now know. I now have to do the final section, and I won't give a spoiler, but I am picking up stitches. Be glad when I get these Jacob's Ladders secured. I'm going to pick stitches up in between these. Then we secure these somehow. So whilst it's kind of a wrap at the moment, because it's really long, this section here is going to get deeper. So we're going to add a section onto this in the middle. The yarn I'm using is by La Bien-Aimée. It is gorgeous yarn. It is the Merino Super Sock. And for those of you interested, I finished the 2 side panels, and I now just have the final section. I think it's section 10. So it's the second part of week 4. I've got a lot of wool left. So I know I'm going to start with this one now. This is my accent colour in this lovely rusty colour. And then I have these 2 as my main colour and contrast. But yeah, I've got a lot of yarn left. Stephen says in the final section, you use approximately 40 grams of each. I think there's a specific weight, but I think it's kind of 40 grams. So I'll probably use about just under half of each of these. So I'm gonna have a lot of yarn left. So what I need to then decide, if you watched one of the wrap-up videos with Anniina, I talked about maybe at some point, like not this year, maybe not even next year, making some kind of shawl with all the leftover yarn from all my previous MCALs. I think that would be quite cute, and a bit of a memory jogger. Last year, Linda, who joined us on lots of the videos, encouraged people to make socks to match your shawl, which I did, and that could be a nice idea to use the leftover yarn, which I've now dropped. I was more worried about it going in my tea. That could have been fun, couldn't it? Use the leftover yarn to make socks with. So I might do that again, but not this side of Christmas. I have lots of things I need to get sorted. I need to be more organised. So that's twists and turns. And that was basically my October. And now my November. I've had a really crazy week at work. I've had 2 nights this week. Maybe even 3 nights when I've not done any crafting. I know. And sometimes after the madness of Vlogtober, and I always find that after the madness of the MCAL, I feel like I needed a break. I couldn't even do anything mindless. I was just like, no, I just want to watch telly. I just want to lie on the sofa and not craft. Absolutely still have my crafting mojo, making plans, lots of things I want to do. But yeah, just wasn't in the headspace to do this or to do anything really. So that's going to be my main work in progress for November. And with a strong wind, I should be able to get this finished this week, I'm hoping. It will definitely be done in November. Fingers crossed. How are you getting on with your MCALs? Let me know. I know there's lots of you now that are team Embrace Your Pace. I do need to pick up the pace for myself and finish, because poor Anniina from the Fibre Chats channel, I'll put Irina's channel below. If you've never heard of her during the MCAL, this Anniina, go and check out Irina's channel. But poor Anniina is waiting for me to finish my shawl so that we can do a big reveal together. So I do need to get a wiggle on, because I'm very mindful that I'm holding Anniina up. The only other thing that I did work on then during, a little bit during October, and I have done a little bit, I did some on this morning, for example, is I'm working on a pair of socks. Basic, bog standard vanilla socks. These are my Rocker Bunny socks, and they're for Mark, and they are using yarn by Attic Spin Dye, and I love this colour. So I finished those earlier in the summer, and I think I showed that off as a half finished sock, and I've made a start on the second. So the marker was here at the beginning of October. So I've done that much. I'm not a very quick sock knitter, but I wanted something mindless. I think I went out somewhere. Did I go on a trip? You guys, you folks might remember what I talked about this in Vlogtober, I think. I'm sure I went somewhere and I needed something easy to take with me. So I had my Rocker Bunny socks. So I'm doing these as afterthought heels. So I basically just knit a big tube. I put the wool into half on one sock, and then we've got a slightly longer toe. The toe is probably usually about that length. But a slightly longer toe because Mark wanted slightly longer length on the sock. So yeah, and then I'm going to put the heel in. So I've got 2 train rides this month, November. So I will take these with me. These are good for out and about knitting. And then we'll put the heels in. I've got another. It kind of came as a duo. So we've got the Rocker Bunny mashup, and then the Rocker Bunny mashup also had this second skein. So they're just gorgeous colours. So my original plan was to make these socks, then make these socks, and then do all the heels. But these have been around for a while now, so I might see how far I get. This isn't going to be a November thing, because I'm not very quick at socks. But I think I would still like to do that plan, and then I've used all the wool, and Mark has got 2 pairs of socks then to add to his collection. Let me move my tea. I'm worried I'm going to drop the yarn in the tea again, and that would not be good, would it? So I genuinely forgotten how to podcast after 3 weeks or 4 weeks of Vlogtober, because everything's wrapped around the tripod. You should see the mess that's by here. So yeah, I might work out whether, I think I'll still stick to that plan, that I'll get all of the socks done, and then I'll do all the heels in one go. But I've been working on these, and they live in this little, this small London themed bag by Gemma of The Little Grey Girl. If you are new here, expect to hear a lot about Gemma because I love her products. And also we've got something secret being plotted. More on that in future videos, but I'm super excited to talk to you about an upcoming collaboration that we're doing, and also including 2 funky, amazing designers. So that's all I'm saying. I'll give too much away and then I'll get told off. So my Rocker Bunny socks, I'm going to carry on knitting. And then the other work in progress that I don't have anything to show you apart from the pattern book, because I haven't made any. Let me have a slurp of my tea. So I'm going to, in November, apart from my Mystery Knit Along shawl, I am going to finish my 12 Birds of Christmas. So these, I am a knitter who crochets. I'm not a bad crocheter. Definitely the amigurumi toy style crochet though. I'm not a great garment crocheter. I sometimes struggle with like straight lines still, and because knitting is my preferred hobby. But I can crochet. But I'm obsessed with Toft and Kerry's projects. And so this is a partridge in a pear tree, the 12 Birds of Christmas. And I set myself a goal at the beginning of the year to crochet 1 bird a month. It's now November and I am 3 behind. So I need to do 3 birds this month. I think I need to do him, which I believe is John the Woodpecker. I also need to do him, which I think is Gilbert the Pheasant. And I'm not sure which the other one is. Very typical for me. Why do it in order and be structured? I've just randomly picked which ones I wanted to crochet. I can't remember which the other one is off the top of my head that I haven't done. Maybe this one. The black with the yellow beak. But I've got 3 to do. I will get them out of the box. They're living in a box in the spare room. I will obviously get them out of the box before I start to make sure. That would also be typically me, that I hadn't planned it properly. And I then made 2 of 1 bird. But I really love this book. They are super fun. There's a couple close-ups. So they're really cute, and they're going to kind of live here, I think, in the flat at Christmas. I found a metal Christmas tree frame in IKEA, and I want to hook them on to the metal frame. So we're going to have the 12 birds as part of our Christmas decorations. We're going to Scandinavia in December, and I want to have these done before we go. So I will definitely do 1, maybe 2 this month, and then I can get 1 more done before we go. But if I could do 3 this month, that would be amazing. I kind of feel like I need to do a bit of a production line. So rather than make 1 bird, 2 bird, 3 bird, I'll just do 6 legs, 6 wings. Yes, 3 bodies, 3 beaks, etc. I think that might be my plan, and then I can have a bit of a sewing up weekend. So I will also be working on my 12 Birds of Christmas throughout the month. So they are kind of my 3 whips that I'm going to be working on: shawl, socks, and my crochet birds. Now, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. For those of you that have been here for a while, more tea, steel your nerves, people. Some of you are now probably going, but if he's going to work on those, where is Mark's jumper? Where indeed. I'm not working on Mark's jumper this month. I might do, but if you are new here, I will take a photo of Mark's jumper and I'll pop it on screen now. So this is the Argyle sweater by Martin Story. I am obsessed with it. It is beautiful. It is the most complicated and beautiful thing I have ever knit. But it's very slow going. It's intarsia. On each row, you've got about 11 or 12 individual threads for all of the individual colours. It's a bit of a labour of love. And originally, Mark had asked for this 5 years ago. I cast it on a year ago, so it's only actually been on the needles about a year. I pick it up, I work on it. I'm like, oh, this is a lot easier than I think, than I remember. And then I put it down, I don't work on it for 6 months. Now, I made good progress pre-MCAL. I finished the back, which is what you've just seen. I've got a million ends to sew in, and I've also got to do the front. Now, the front should be quicker because obviously the back comes all the way up to the back. The front only kind of comes to here, and then it splits for the V, so there's less stitches. But originally we discussed having it done for when we go to Scandinavia, and it's just not going to happen. And I will try to do a little bit on it, like one of my non-work days. I might be able to spend a good couple of hours doing that, but we've got a few things coming up now over coming weekends, and with the MCAL to finish and my crochet birds, we have made the difficult decision that Mark's jumper will not be ready for us to go to Scandinavia. I didn't have a row. He just looked at me and went, it's okay. Don't look at me with your disappointed face. But he understands what I'm saying, that I could rush and rush and rush and rush. I won't finish the MCAL, I won't finish the birds, the things that I started earlier that I already had in plan for this year. And I don't want to rush it. And I know what would happen if I fixate on a date. I won't take shortcuts, but like I'll be knitting quicker. Will it affect my tension? Will I not be quite as neat with certain things? I've really enjoyed it. It is very slow and time consuming, but it is a bit of a labour of love. So we've agreed that it's not getting finished before December. Worst case scenario, I end up with lots of things to finish November, December. That will be my January project. Last year, it was going to be my January project, but my brothers both decided to have babies with their partners, and then I decided to go on to baby blankets. So we don't have the baby blankets this new year coming up. So it will get finished, and I will keep sharing the progress, and you will all get to see, and eventually he'll wear it. But it won't be for December. So I feel like we needed to just get it out of the way, because I know loads of you love it. And as I keep telling you, keep me honest, make sure, you know, you nudge me. How's Mark's jumper getting on? But yeah, I was like rattling off my 3 whips, and I'm like, yeah, Mark's jumper's not in that whip. Someone's gonna ask. So it's fine. He's okay, I'm okay. It will be a piece that lasts a lifetime. So another couple of months. I am disappointed. The MCAL took a lot longer than I was expecting. I made a list of things at the beginning of vlogtober that I wanted to work on or finish. And I didn't do anything. I literally spent the month working on my shawl. For all the reasons that we won't go back to about errors in my knitting and how I've had to re-engineer. And if you didn't watch lots of the vlogtober madness, why not? They were great. But go back, there's one which has got disaster written on the thumbnail. It wasn't a proper disaster, but that was the unraveling of my MCAL, because I had tension problems, quite significant tension problems. I had to rip quite a lot back. I had to re-engineer the pattern so that I could knit a section rather than purl a section. That was it. That was the turning point where I was never going to keep up. So there we go. Hey ho. So that's probably it for my whips. There's going to be those three and maybe Mark's jumper. I told you this would be a quicker video, didn't I? 25 minutes in and we're now doing stash acquisitions, although there's a few of these. And in my defense, so I'm going to do one acquisition and then one acquisition that led to a gift and then two gifts, because I have some very, very generous people in our community that have sent me things, which is not expected, but absolutely glorious. So we'll come on to that in a moment. Again, for those of you been here for a while, I just mentioned my love of Toft and Kerry Lord and the pattern books. Kerry has a series of dolls, Ed's Dolls Club, and I think it's 3 times a year we get a doll for a famous woman. So it's part of the Making Women Who Made History series, and we've just had the latest installment. No, I haven't made the last installment, but the latest installment has just arrived, and this installment is Noor Inayat Khan, and I knew nothing about Noor, and this is partly why I think Kerry has the series, to raise awareness of some of these unsung heroines that have lived amongst us. So Noor Inayat Khan was born in Moscow in 1914, and she died in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany in 1944. She was acclaimed for being an Indian princess, a British spy, and a World War II heroine. And basically, Noor joined the Women's Auxiliary Air Force, the WAF, to support Britain's fight against fascism. Without violence, and she was basically dropped in 1943 behind enemy lines into France to serve as a wireless operator, and her job was to send and receive messages in Morse code. She was then captured by the Gestapo, and you get the rest. But I love that the Dolls Club comes, there are some people, so last quarter we had Nina Simone, world-renowned famous singer, but also activist. So there was lots of things about Nina Simone that I didn't know about from reading the info card. So there are some popular, like we've had Marie Curie, we've had Emmeline Pankhurst, but there are some others that Kerry gets to raise awareness of. So I've had my kit, because I'm part of the subscription. So they always come really neatly wrapped in a bag that matches the main colour of the wool. I'm trying not to rustle. So Noor will join the collection with the other 6 or 7 dolls that I've got. Next year's plan, I'm not doing a 12-month knit or crochet along. So this year I'm doing the 12-month birds. Last year I did the Arne and Carlos 24 Christmas baubles. So I knit 2 baubles a month. I'm not doing another 12-month project, but I am going to try. I've got a big, huge list of Toft makes that I want to do. So I'm going to try and do at least 1 a month, but not, because it's not part of a series. It doesn't matter if I get behind. Whereas with the baubles, if I didn't do 2 a month, 2 in January, well, I'm then doing 4 in February, and the same with the birds. I've now got 3 to do in November. There's no pressure on me to do those, but I have got a big list of Toft makes that I would like to bring to life, and also the dolls and the Making Women Who Made History series. So I'm going to work through some of those. So you'll definitely see some more crochet on the channel as we move into the new year. So that was the one that I bought. And then the next one that I bought, so I mentioned Attic Spindai, Andy and Angela from earlier, who I got the Rocker Bunny yarn from. I love Peter Rabbit, and I have loved it since I was a child. The stories are amazing. They're so cute, the whole Beatrix Potter world. And I saw that Andy and Angela were doing a monthly yarn subscription for Beatrix Potter, Peter Rabbit themed yarn. Now, when I signed up, I had missed the original launch, and the first skein was Peter Rabbit. I'd missed the first one, and I'd subscribed from the second one, The Tailor of Gloucester. I don't have a picture, but he is the cutest little mouse. I had to touch the screen then. I think that's okay. My battery's going to run out shortly. So The Tailor of Gloucester is the second in the series. I subscribed and then got on board with the subscription. What I then didn't realise, and Andy and Angela were super lovely, they had dyed up some extra skeins for the subscription for people that had signed up from week one. And they very kindly sent me a skein of the original number one in the series of Peter Rabbit. So this was a gift from Andy and Angela, and it was super generous. I said I signed up to the club from part 2, but they've sent me part 1 as well. So you get this cute little postcard. I'm assuming Angela's made these little crochet Peters that go along with the collection. We've got a really cute little carrot stitch marker, and then just a little bit of information. There's a little quote about Peter Rabbit. Also within the parcel, I had a little tea, a little lavender Peter Rabbit pouch, which is really lovely, and then a little tiny contrast. I love these micros. So that came as clue 1, and I said it's a very, very generous gift from Andy and Angela, because they'd made extras for each of the for the first one, in case they hadn't arrived with the subscribers, and then they very kindly sent me this Peter Rabbit. And I love the blues into the browns into the creams. I can't wait to use this and then see what week 2 or part 2 is going to be for the Tailor of Gloucester. So I'll pop the details below to Andy and Angela's Etsy shop and Instagram. You can still get on board with the club. You can go and subscribe now from part 2 for the Tailor of Gloucester. I don't believe you can get your hands on one of these any longer, but please drop them a message, and I'm sure if there's enough demand out there for Peter, maybe they'll do another batch. They did do that recently. I've been sharing it on my Instagram. It wasn't just me. A few people have been sharing them on Instagram, and they did another dye batch a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to keep these. It's meant to be a 12-month subscription that you can cancel at any time. You buy each one as you're going. But I'm going to wait until I've got 3 or 4 of them, and then I'm going to try and think of a project. And I'm thinking I want something that's going to show the yarn off rather than just do socks. I'm thinking of maybe something like a Vertices Unite shawl that is done in sections, and then I can have Peter in section 1 and Tailor of Gloucester in section 2, and then something else in section 3, whatever they're going to be. But something that shows the yarn off. I don't really want to do like a corner to corner blanket, because you'll have lots of Peter in the bottom corner, and then as it gets out, like the 4th or 5th one, you'll just have this section in the middle. I don't want to do something like that. I want something that's going to show all of the yarns equally. So if you've got any pattern ideas, let me know. This is obviously going to go in my stash now for the next 3 or 4 months, because I'll wait until I've got a few of them before I decide what it's going to be. But I really wanted to show that off, because I'm really glad that I got to subscribe to the Beatrix Potter Club, and then super grateful to Andy and Angela for that lovely gift. I also had in the post from Sandy, who is a crochet fan of Toft, and Sandy is just Sandy's Instagram. I'll pop the details below. Sandy has a blue dinosaur called Dippy, who is one of the Toft patterns, and Sandy, her Instagram is so much fun with Dippy gets up to mischief, and he's a little bit wild and a bit naughty in his photos. And I got chatting to Sandy over the last few months over our shared love of Toft, and when I went to a recent show, there was a patch. Toff do these iron-on patches. I don't have any with me that I can grab one to show you, but they have iron-on collector's patches about this big that you put onto your stash bag. And I was able to pick up a patch at the show, but I already had it, so I picked one up and I gave it to Sandy. And in return, Sandy sent me these cute little dinosaur gifts. So I've got a little postcard with a little message, a bookmarker, because Dippy can see all the books in the flat, and then this cute, super cute little notepad. And then also, Sandy takes part in the Imaginists Toft competition. Sadly, neither of us won a gold or silver patch for the last quarters, but I really love Sandy's. And if I was picking, personally, I thought Sandy's was the winner. Oceanus was Sandy's entry. And I think he's just so cool. So the Imaginist competition is you use the Ed's Monsters book by Kerry Lord, and then you use the standard monster shape, the head and the body, and then you choose different hair, arms and legs, and Sandy came up with Oceanus. So she very kindly wrote down the method for me for how she created him, and he's definitely going to be one that I would love to try and make in the future. So a big thank you to Sandy and Dippy for sharing that with me. That was such a super cute gift to receive through the post. And then finally, I'm just trying to work out if this battery is going to die. I record on my iPhone. I'm going to pause you while I get an iPhone charger. Okay, I'm back, as if by magic. Yeah, I record on my iPhone, and I never usually think, so I usually do it first thing in the morning, but because it's a bit later in the day, it flashed up and said it was 20%, and then I'm like, I don't know how long 20% is going to be when I'm chatting. I don't want to run out mid-speech. So then the final gift that I had, I don't get a lot of gifts, and this isn't me asking for gifts, but it's me saying I've had some lovely gifts this month from Andy and Angela and from Sandy, and I've had another gift from Anniina, and I'll pop Anniina's details below. Anniina has a YouTube channel and also on Instagram, and I've built a bit of a friendship with Anniina. I think social media is often, and 99% of the time, a force for good. I know it can be a bit of a toxic cesspit on occasion, but I've built some really good friendships with people on social media, as I just talked about with Sandy. And I've spoke to Anniina for a while. We supported each other through last year's MCAL. And I got a message out of the blue from her saying, if I wanted to send you something, what would your address be? So I gave her my address, and I'm just blown away this week. I had a little letter, which I won't read, but a little handwritten letter. No one does handwritten letters these days. You know, it was lovely to get a little handwritten postcard from Sandy and a little handwritten letter from Anniina. And there was some chocolate. This is all that's left. We've eaten the chocolate and the licorice, so we had a little food parcel. Two of Annie's favourite knitting notions. So I've got the stitch cords. Now, I've never, ever used these before, so I'm super excited to try these. So you would slip stitches, you kind of push your needle tip in the end, and then you just slip your stitches on. So they're like stretchy cable holders. I've seen loads of people with them, but I've never actually used them myself. So I had a little tin with a stitch marker, a little ice lolly, and the cables, which I'm just trying to put away. And I'm going to need to go and shut that blind now as well, aren't I? This is why I record in the morning. And we had a wool comb, which is cute for defluffing your wool. And before I do the big reveal of the other bit, I'm just going to run and close the blind. That's better. And then also in the package were 2 pairs of hand knit socks. So I have a pair for myself. And then because Anniina knows that I'm a very slow sock knitter, as we've already discussed earlier in this video, she made a pair for Mark as well. I love these so much. The colour is as vibrant as it's showing up on the camera now. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, with all of the lovely gifts that I've had this month, it's just been amazing to have. But for me, like, just the icing on the cake with someone taking their time to make not just 1 pair of socks, but 2 pairs of socks. And I feel like this when I gift knit. I don't do a lot of gift knitting. All of my family are knit-worthy people. I will always knit for them. My sister-in-laws are always appreciative of things for my nieces and nephew. But I know the work that goes into creating hand knit items. And for someone who I've never met in real life to take the time to make 2 pairs of socks, I'll make me a pair of socks, but make sure that Mark didn't feel left out and make Mark a pair of socks as well. Yeah, just absolutely amazing. So we've tried them on and they fit perfectly. I shared this on my Instagram over the weekend, and someone replied and went, how did you know what size feet they were? And Annie said that because she watches my videos, she'd remember me talking about our foot size and the recipe. So Mark is 64 stitches on a 2.25 and things. So she made mine based on the socks that she makes for her husband. So yeah, I think this could be the thumbnail, couldn't it? That could be the thumbnail. Like, I'm just blown away by the generosity of this community and people in general, and it just makes you feel all warm and fluffy. So a big thank you this month to Annie, Sandy, and Andrew and Andy for being very kind and generous to me. I absolutely do not expect it, and I was very, very grateful and very humbled to receive such lovely gifts in the post. So yeah. So that is it for the knitting content and the crochet content. I always say knitting content. I always feel bad. I forget about the crochet content, or to talk about crochet. But you know what I mean. Another slurp of tea. Cold lemon tea. Yeah, so that's it for what I've been up to really in October, because I overshared all the way through Vlogtober with you. But I've talked about the things that I'm going to work on during November. There are lots of things coming up on the channel between now and the end of the year. Later in November, hopefully to be confirmed, I'm going to do a live YouTube with Gemma from The Little Grey Girl. We are getting together, maybe next weekend, I think it might be, but we're going to get together to plot something. So we might do a little impromptu live if I can get Gem on YouTube with me, that we can talk a little bit about that. But also Gem's going to be setting up a YouTube channel, which I'm super excited for you all to watch and get behind. One of my favourite indie dyers, and Gem's going to be sharing how she dyes her yarn and inspiration and all that kind of stuff. So little teaser that hopefully is coming up on the channel in a couple of weeks, maybe next week. Stay tuned for details. And then I may be back with a final update, hopefully, on my shawl. And I get to show this off. And we're going to do a little photo shoot and take Mark out and about and make him wear it and video him with that on. And then we're into December and the madness starts again with Vlogmas. So I only do one advent, really. I take part in the Toft Advent. This year's advent, we are making a bird. That's all we know. The Toft Advent hasn't arrived yet. They are due to be dispatched this week and next week, I think. International people first. Obviously, Toft are a UK company. Then we'll get ours and they'll be shipped in time for Advent. Each day you get a tiny bag to open that's been individually numbered. So I'm really excited for that. So Vlogmas will be focused around what Mark and I get up to in the run up to the holidays and sharing my progress on the Toft bird. Also in December, Mark and I are off on holiday. So we are very lucky. We haven't had a proper holiday this year. So we are planning to do a Scandinavian adventure where we are going to go to Oslo. Then we are going to fly to Stockholm. Then we're going to get the train to Copenhagen. That's the bit I'm most excited about. 5.5 hours of knitting on the train. And then we're going to fly home. So there'll be lots of festive, woolly content. I'm going to obviously go and find some yarn shops to show you all about. So I hope you'll stick around and get involved in Vlogmas and share with my Advent madness. And then lots of things I'm planning, as I said in the last, in one of my videos, starting to plan for what next year's craziness looks like. I'm hoping to get to the Unravel Yarn Show again in February. The East Anglia Yarn Fest is in Norfolk in March, hoping to get along to that. Some other sort of collaboration type videos as well in the plan. So lots and lots going on, all centered around knitting, all centered around crochet and our shared love of the fiber art. So hope that you are all going to be here on this crazy journey. We still have to do the Q&A video. You've all submitted your questions for Mark and I, and we've just run out of time to get it finished or to get it recorded properly because of then like the MCAL. And now I'm doing all this stuff and then Vlogmas. And so that will come probably in the new year. Maybe that's a January video. But yeah, lots and lots coming up. And just once again, as I said at the beginning, thank you to everyone that's here. Welcome to all the new subscribers and thank you to existing subscribers for coming back. If you've just stumbled upon me and you don't subscribe, so you're neither new nor existing, click that subscribe button and it helps me to grow my channel. Over 7,000 of us now. Just, it makes me so happy and warms my little heart. Seeing everyone being here, chatting, liking, subscribing, commenting in the comments below, tagging me on Instagram or Twitter with what you're up to. It really does feel like a community feel, and I love making these videos. So as long as you guys and gals still want videos, I will keep making them. So I'm going to wrap this video up slightly. I thought it would be a slightly shorter one, but it might be about an average length for a wrap up. I said to Mark, right, I'm just going to go and have half hour now. He's like, it's not going to be half an hour. You'll be chatting for ages. But I'm going to get this video wrapped up and then edited together. And then you're going to be watching this. If you're watching it as soon as it's gone up on Monday night, Monday at 4, that's my standard. That's when I like to do a video. So yeah, thank you very much for being here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know how you're getting on with your MCAL. Let me know what you've got planned. I'm sure lots of you are gift knitting between now and the end of the year. I'm not planning on doing any gift knitting this year. I say that now, it might change as I get to December and I'll be stressed knitting something. I want to think about what I'm going to take with me to Scandinavia as well. I might try and, I bought some individual skeins so I can make cowls and things with. So I might try and, as well as my Advent, because I'll be away, so I'll be doing my crochet bit daily. I might take some yarn away with me and start something new. I could take a jumper, couldn't I? And I could work with it, but I feel like I'm going on holiday. It'd be nice to sit in the airport, cast something on, and then kind of like work on it while we're on holiday. What do you do for holiday knitting? Does that sound like a good idea? I'd like to know that actually, because I feel like I've been on holiday before and I've taken like 4 projects. I'm going to do loads and I don't do any. So I need to plan some things for like time at airports and train rides and things, but I don't want to go crazy. But I think I'm going to start something new. Are you all with me? Can I start something new? Yes, you're saying? No? Martin, work on one of your 14 whips? It'll all get done, right? So yes, thank you very much for being here. I'm definitely going to go now. I'm not going to think of any more questions to ask you. So I will be back in a week, in 2 weeks, who knows? But until we speak again, I will... Oh, I've forgotten my ending. I told you I've forgotten how to sit down and do these. So I'll be back in a couple of weeks. So until we speak again, happy crafting.